Happy Pride Month! This is actually my last Pride Speed Paint for this year. I actually wanted to talk about my experience, how I found out I was bi, and the little bit of homophobia I experienced as a kid. All names have been changed for obvious reasons, and for context, I'm in my early 20s. I'm going to break this up into 3 parts. The first part is late elementary school. This is shortly after my dad died, so I was around 10 or 11 years old. After I moved, so I was in the 6th grade at that point, and while I was still technically in elementary school, I was around 11 or 12, middle school age, and if I had stayed, I would have been in middle school. But I had moved state, so I was in elementary school for 1 more year. And lastly, high school. Middle school wasn't really a romantic or discovering time for me. I don't really remember a lot of the students, and I had maybe 1 male crush. Though at this time, I wasn't being bullied as badly anymore, and I finally had a nice core group of friends rather than just one. So I think that's why it wasn't very romantic for me, because it was more about me finally having friends and not being bullied and feeling really bad about myself. High school is when I really found out about who I was, and originally I identified as pan or pansexual, but I feel like bi is more suited towards me. Anyways, on to my story. I hope you like it. In elementary school, I was a weird kid. I was undiagnosed with ADHD, and I only wanted to wear the frilliest, cutest dresses. I'm talking about things that you'd wear to church or a wedding, and I wanted to wear that in my everyday life. As such, I was heavily bullied, but I did get a secret admirer card in the 5th grade, and this will be important later. It was big. It had lip gloss, gum, all my favorite candy, and a really sweet message. They wanted to meet me by the swings at the playground after school. Unfortunately, I was a bus kid, and that day, instead of waiting outside, you had to wait in the cafeteria, and my teachers wouldn't let me meet my secret admirer, no matter how much I begged, cried, and asked. I was devastated because, keep in mind, I was being bullied, and I wanted to meet my secret admirer. The one person I thought that cared about me aside from my best and only friend at the time. Naturally, I assumed it was a boy, but nope. Later, I found out it was a girl I didn't really know well. We'll call her Tia. Now, Tia was a cute girl, but at this point in time, I didn't really feel anything. I wasn't really at that point in my life yet. However, because Tia gave me a secret admirer card, I thought it was okay for a girl to give another girl a secret admirer card and a boy to give another boy a secret admirer card. Now, well, today that might be okay. Back then, it was still pretty homophobic times. This was a few years before the social justice movement really took off and LGBT really became mainstream, I guess would be the word, so I didn't really know about any of this stuff. Fast forward another year, and this is when I moved. Though I'm still being bullied, as usual, I make one friend who isn't important to this story. However, there was another girl in my class we'll call Amanda. Now, I didn't know Amanda well or talk to her often, but she was being bullied too. So, just as Tia did for me, I left Amanda a secret admirer card in her backpack. This is still late elementary school, so we didn't have lockers yet. Now, this made her world light up. And she was talking to me and my friend about how they were going to test it against all the boys' handwriting in the class. This is when I, seeing how happy she was and feeling amazing at this point, admitted to her it was me, which was a huge mistake. She didn't exactly take it well. She said, ew, that I was gross. She asked me if I even knew what a secret admirer was, but at this point, a teacher did come over. We told both sides of our stories, her really angry and me just about crying. And I still remember what she said, and it's still surprising given the times. She said, "Love comes in many forms." Amanda then walked off, and I was so lucky she didn't tell anyone, because I am absolutely positive the bullying would have been worse. I don't know if the teacher was LGBT herself, or just an ally, or even if she knew about that stuff, but the way she made it sound made me think that she was referring to my card as a friendship card. I was so ashamed of what I did, and I was determined to never do something like that again. I started to experience some internalized homophobia, which is why I didn't admit my feelings towards my next female crush. Fast forward again, we're about halfway through the year when a French immigrant joins our class. She was beautiful. She had long brown hair, beautiful sparkling brown eyes, milky, pure white skin. She spoke French and English, and she was so elegant in my eyes. We'll call her Fraise, the French word for strawberry. She was everything I wanted to be, but I wasn't, and everything I wanted to be with. But remember that little homophobic stunt Amanda pulled earlier in the school year? Yeah, I thought two girls couldn't be together because of that. And because of that, I thought we were just experiencing a very deep friendship. Yes, that is exactly what I thought. And on top of that, instead of realizing I was experiencing romantic love, I fell in love with the country of France itself. So instead of seeing France as a country and French people as people, I started romanticizing all of it and thought they were all as sweet and elegant as Fraise. This meant I wanted to learn French, I wanted to visit France, I wanted to go to France for college, I even wanted to live in Paris. It's also how I got my artist name, well, a part of it. Marionette D. Antoinette, MD Antoinette, Marionette Doll Antoinette, all those variants come from the last Queen of France, Marie Antoinette, and my affinity for dolls, specifically porcelain dolls, I actually have a small collection of them. Fraise and I became friends, and because of my internalized homophobia, I didn't really understand what I was feeling. Like I said, I thought it was a very deep friendship. But eventually we did drift apart and went to separate middle schools. And I really never saw her again. And I wish I could have confessed, but again, it was still homophobic times. Now onto high school, where the social justice movement and the LGBT were becoming more mainstream, and I was finally figuring out what that was. I met a few LGBT people through the Gay Straight Alliance Club. I met 2 trans men, a gender fluid person, and even a lesbian. It was a small club. Now, Fraise was far from my mind at this point, so I identified as straight, even though that wasn't who I was. I had a sweet boyfriend and was just really happy until I met Lizzie. That's what we'll call her. And Lizzie was the lesbian I mentioned earlier. She was fairly short. I had to guess around maybe 5 feet. She was also a tomboy, had short hair, and was unfortunately living with a homophobic family. I started to develop a crush on her, and this would be my questioning phase, though since I had a boyfriend at the time and I'm a loyal girl, I didn't confess. Then I started to develop a crush on one of the trans men who we'll call Andrew, which made me really confused. After a week or so of questioning, I decided to come out as pan or pansexual. But like I said at the beginning, this label didn't stick. Luckily, my family did accept me, and it was just more of like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm pan. Oh, okay, cool, what do you want for dinner kind of situation. Though it kind of makes me sad to this day that I can't come out to my dad. Unfortunately, he passed away when I was 10, so I'll never really know if he truly would accept me. And I wish I could know. Anyways, aside from that slightly depressing note, I soon felt more comfortable with bi and came out as that. Anyways, that's my story. I hope you all are having and will continue to have a happy and safe Pride, whether in or out of the closet. And remember, you can come out at any age. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please check out my social media, Steven's social media, the Gem School Host Club, and my comics. Stay artsy. Bye, guys.